Hi, my name is Steve Stine from Guitar Zoom, and the licks that I just played are from a DVD called String Skipping Magic. And I'd like to break this down for you and show you how easy yet effective it really is. What I did was I created a jam track that uses A minor, F, C, and G. And I'm doing this string skipping concept over each one of those chords. I'm simply doing a technique that I like to call chord chasing, but I'm using string skipping arpeggios to do so. So what I'm going to do is take all four of those chords and I'm going to place them on the sixth string as bar chords, and I'm simply going to follow those chords around. So the first chord I've got is an A minor sixth string bar chord. All right, so what I'm going to do each time is I'm going to go to my pinky, wherever my pinky is in this bar chord, which is a root. That's where my arpeggio is going to start. So in this case, I'm going to create a minor arpeggio, which I discussed with you exactly what it is and how it works. I'm going to be starting with my middle finger on the 7th fret of the 4th string, and then I'm going to go over here to the 5th fret with my first finger of the 3rd string, and then I'm going to go to the 9th fret of the 3rd string with my pinky. And then I skip over a string, which is where it gets its name, of course, and I'm going to play the 5th fret of the 1st string and the 8th fret of the 1st string as well. And I'm going to use my first finger and my ring finger to do so. So the pattern looks like this. That's what a minor string skipping arpeggio looks like. Now what I want to teach you how to do is to make this really, easy and effective for yourself so you can start using it right away. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the first note, we're going to pluck that note, and then I'm going to go to the 5th fret with my first finger, and this time what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to hammer to the 9th fret. So I have, and then I'm going to go down to the 1st string and I'm going to hammer from 5 to 8. And then I'm going to do a pull-off back to 5, so it looks like this. And then I'm going to head back to the 9th fret and do a pull-off from 9 to 5. And then back to the root. So I'm simply doing pick, pick, hammer, pull-off, and then pick, pull-off, and then pick again. What I really want you to think about as you're trying to play this arpeggio is basically every time you go to a new string, you have to pick it to start the string to vibrate, okay? From there, we're just doing hammer-ons and pull-offs as necessary. Now, the next chord that comes up is an F chord. So what I did was I took that F and simply went up an octave. So instead of playing the F at the 1st fret, I was playing it at the 13th fret, which again puts my pinky on the 15th fret of the 4th string. So I'm going to start with my middle finger on that note again, which is F. Only this time I'm going to play a major arpeggio, which means I'm going from the 15th fret of the 4th string, but I'm not going down 2 frets, I'm only going to move down 1 fret. So I'm going 15th fret to 14th fret of the 3rd string. And then I do my hammer on to my pinky, which is going to be on the 17th fret of the 3rd string. And then I head down here, and I'm going to go to the 13th fret, and then I'm going to go to the 17th fret of the 1st string. Okay, so we're going 15, and then 14 to 17 hammer on, and then 13 to 17 hammer on, pull off, and we're just going backwards, coming back down. So whenever you're playing a major chord, this is the shape that you could use. Whenever you're playing a minor chord, this is the shape that you could use, and you'd always find it off the 6th-string bar chord. Now, there are a host of other ways that we can find string skipping arpeggios, and I'm going to show you a bunch of those as well in the DVD, but this is a really nice, easy way of starting this. Okay, the next chord I had in my sequence was a C, so I find my C 6th-string bar chord, find where my pinky is, and boom. Now that shape that I'm playing right there looks exactly like the F shape, except I'm down here on C. See? And then the next chord that comes up is a G chord, so of course I come on down to the G 6th-string bar chord and do the same shape down there. So basically I'm going from A minor right here to F, to C, down to G. Now I also want to show you some really cool things that you can do with this to change up the idea, okay? Again, in a chord chasing fashion, if I was utilizing this shape, would I have to play it in that order? And the first thing to look at, of course, is no. I could do all kinds of different things. Like, watch this. I could maybe go up. And what I like to do is I'll return back to the first string. See how I return to the third string and back to the first string? So you can make all kinds of different shapes by simply playing the outsides of this. You see? Go to major, same thing. So, needless to say, we could start exploring, and we will, different shapes within that, okay? The last thing that you can do with this, which is really neat, is you can start implementing notes inside this shape. So let's say, for instance, we were playing that, but we wanted it to sound a little bit more scalular instead of just arpeggiated sounds like that. So what I'm going to do is, instead of just playing 7, 5, 9, maybe I'll add 7 on the third string as well. But to still get that string skipping effect, I'm going to jump over the second string. I'm going to head up here to my 5 and my 8. But instead of just playing 5 and 8, I could add the 7 in between. So I'm adding 2 new notes, the 7th fret of both the first and the third strings. Okay, now what's really cool about that is I'm adding 7 and 7, which lines up with my root. So it's really easy visually to see. Now, if I was on a major arpeggio, I'll head back up here to the F shape, okay? Here's where my root would be, my middle finger. And again, I could simply add that same note, that middle finger, okay, on the same fret as the root was, on both strings as well. So those notes don't change. It's a really easy visual cue to see how to add those notes in. You see? So when I get done with this outside arpeggio shape and adding in those inside notes, you really wind up with a scale sound. See, it's pretty cool. So if you wanted to just keep it chordal, you can play the outside of it. If you want to start playing it more scalular, there's all kinds of cool things we can do to add those notes in between. The other really neat thing that you can do with this is you don't necessarily have to play it as a speed lick. It doesn't necessarily have to be fast. You might be playing over a chord, like an A minor, and you go in here, and you're not exactly sure what scale you should be using, but you want to do something more than pentatonic, right? So you're looking at this and you're thinking, okay, well, maybe I'll just use... So you can use it in a soloing sense, too, where maybe it doesn't sound like that. Maybe what you're doing is just going in there and you're using it just as a realistic idea to get you through a situation that you're in. So if you're on a major chord like G, you're thinking, okay, well, I could play G major pentatonic, but maybe I'm going to do something... You see? So I'm simply meandering through the shape to create some other kinds of sounds as well. So there's a whole host of cool tricks that we can do with this idea. And I'm going to show you how to do it all in a free DVD called String Skipping Magic. Plus, you're going to get a downloadable tab book so you can easily follow along and you'll know exactly which notes to play on the fretboard. Also, you're going to get a jam track, so as soon as you learn the lick, you can apply it immediately to your own playing. But we're only giving away this free DVD for a limited time, so get yours now while they're still available.